Okay, Colorado. This is an interesting
They're going to
one.
be bad.
No, they're not.
They're going to be worse than the Blackhawks.
Joe Sakic ought to be fired.
They're going to be ninth.
Look at this. Joe Sakic
Look at this.
ought to be fired.
What a mess.
He wins the Stanley Cup. Joe Sakic, no stranger to bold moves. The one thing that did happen, though, is immediately following the Stanley Cup, he loses his second-line center, and he loses his starting goaltender, and he's replaced one of those with a goalie who has never had a starting job in the NHL. Now, we understand Georgiev can play well, and we'll talk about it in a second, but what are the over-under odds at Sports Interaction?
The Colorado Avalanche are sitting at 111.5.
They had 119 points last year.
I think you should punch the over in the throat.
That's a lot of points.
A lot of points, Steve.
112
a really
points.
good team.
But you could see why people would look at this, and obviously they're the Blackhawks. Of course they're good. And producer Drew somewhere
Blackhawks?
The Blackhawks, the Avalanche. they're the Blackhawks.
We were
are
just
terrible.
talking about the Blackhawks.
Yeah, but producer Drew's probably punching a wall somewhere. If me, having me say that they've lost a couple pieces. The question is out there: did they lose some steps too?
Well, okay.
Because you look at the Lightning, they win 2 cups in a row. They don't lose any major pieces. Major pieces.
Georgiev he's a question mark. He's a bit of an unknown. But not everyone can be Igor Shesterkin. And part of the discussion around the New York Rangers is they were propped up by their goaltending. And you look at Shesterkin's numbers versus Georgiev's, and one won the Vezina, and the other
Was the backup.
But didn't look great while doing it. Part of me wonders, were they actually that bad that Georgiev just could not play in that system? And I'm curious to see how he does in Colorado. Colorado won with Darcy Kemper. And bless the guy. But a lot of us probably, where would Darcy Kemper end up on most lists of the best goalie in the NHL?
15 to 20.
It'd be double digits for sure.
Yeah,
Okay, not
15 to 20.
15.
Listen,
I'd say in the 10 to 15 range, yeah.
Yeah, 10 to 15, not 15 to 20.
last
Bump
year he had a
10
921.
spots.
921, but he
On Colorado, Philip Grubauer was nominated for the Vezina.
Mm-hmm.
Philip Grubauer is the reason Kemper wasn't nominated. No. We've seen this movie before. We're gonna get rid of all this. But we know Georgiev can play well. Guaranteed pair of wins against the Leafs because Georgiev just eats that team alive for some reason. And a guy who was their backup, who I think had turned into more of a tandem goalie in Pavel Franco. He's been nothing but great in basically every regular season he's played. He was great in the playoffs. One of the more unsung playoff goalies of the last, I don't even know how long. He won a series on his own.
Yes.
Basically, against McDavid and the Oilers.
Yeah.
And looked damn good doing it.
And NHL teams used to platoon goalies all the time. That used to be the way they did it. And then they stopped doing it in the 90s when you had the Waz and the Brodeurs and the Hasiks. But it would be interesting to see a team with a dead even split of goaltending go and win the cup. And we've seen that a little bit with the Penguins in more recent years. Not dead even in the regular season, but injuries and stuff like that.
So the conversation, I think this is where producer Drew would start the conversation. Because
he would start, the Avs are great, shut up.
No, he's a nervous fan.
Oh!
No. He plays a big game on Twitter. He's a nervous fan.
Oh.
And he'd say, Georgiev, I don't know how this is going to work. That's how stuff can go wrong. The things that could go right for the Colorado Avalanche, can Cale Makar, I don't care about the North. I don't care about that. Can he win the Hart? Can he win the Hart
Yes, he
Trophy
can.
as the league MVP?
Yes.
Nathan MacKinnon is the highest paid player in the National Hockey League, and he might not be the best player on his team. It's a true thing, man. I'm so excited for and Nathan MacKinnon is probably going to clear 100 points, but I'm so excited for what the reign of Cale Makar can be. Because it looked for a while like there was going to be this rotating cast of guys at the top. No, it's Cale Makar's throne. That's his throne. He might not win the Norris every year, but we all know who the best defenseman in the National Hockey League is.
I don't know. Adam Fox is going to say a couple things
he's
this
such
year.
a Rangers.
All right,
So Adam Fox
this
might...
is your video game
Rangers homer right over here.
All I'm saying is there's some challenges to the throne. Anyways, but Bo Byram, I think, is getting underrated with how great Cale
yeah.
Makar is, because that's a kid who's going to take another step this year. This is a very good hockey team.
Yeah.
No matter how you look at it, it's just talented all the way top down. And I would be interested to see if they go Rantanen full-time at center. You take away Nazem Kadri instead of putting JT Comfy, I think, in the center position there on the second line.
There is Newhook as well.
Yeah, Newhook is an option. Like you have a couple options there to fill the second line center. I'd like to see Rantanen move over full time. Let him play the center. Let them switch face-offs on their opposite wings, because I know they switch left and right, him and Comfer. But like, try Rantanen.
They basically like McKinnon. The whole top line can play center.
Yeah,
It's not fair.
We talked about
It's fair in the Olympics.
when we did the Calgary projection. We were talking about the best top 4 defensemen in the league. They are probably up there. I think if you look at the Colorado Avalanche, they might. I don't think this is a thing, but and as far as top 5s go, you got Taves, Makar, Byram, Manson, Girard.
Oh yeah.
God, that's so dumb.
Like on any team, those guys are mostly top 4, definitely. Or sorry, mostly top 2, definitely top 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm glad you brought up Eric Johnson, because I think
Or didn't.
Wait, you didn't?
No,
No,
thought
he
you said
mentioned the
Johnson.
top 4. Manson.
Yeah, top 5.
Oh, Manson, my bad.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? Okay, a lot of people don't love that deal. I love the player, though,
Mhm.
and thought he was great in the playoffs.
He was.
I don't know if they win the Stanley Cup without him.
Without Eric Johnson.
No, Josh Manson.
Sorry,
Josh
I'm
Manson.
going.
Yeah.
My bad. I'm going to Josh Manson.
Your old phrase of "you got to pay something to get something."
That was pay something to get something.
That was the market price for Josh Manson, and he was effective, and he was worth the price because he won the Stanley Cup.
Absolutely. Now, with regard to Eric Johnson, there's going to be an interesting. It's the most abused term in the sport, but last dance vibe. He's not going to be back.
Mm-hmm.
And if he is, it's going to be at a far reduced number.
$750,000.
Well, I don't. It's not going to be much above 2,
Mhm.
but he's making a little over 6, I think, or 6 right now. And this is going to be the last year of I got to be careful with how I phrase this. It's going to be the last year of a window for the Avalanche that will open up another window.
What window?
It's
The Eric
You know
Johnson
how-
era is almost over. Jeff.
you know
the
how the
door is
Lightning-
open. What window?
I don't know. No, because
Climb up
and
the
also
window.
McKinnon's extension kicks in.
Yes.
So it's
a
the
little less money.
Lightning. The Lightning had on their second rings, they had last day of school engraved on it, because it was their last chance to win the cup with that group.
Yes.
Then the next year, they're right back in the Stanley Cup final, but it was with a different group. So that's how I see this for the Avalanche. As they go for a repeat, I kind of look at it like the Lightning's repeat. It's the last day of school for this particular group, and then they have some decisions to make. After which, I think they could still win the Stanley Cup.
If it was the Lightning in this situation, they would have retained Kadri somehow.
Yeah.
You know what?
Like,
You're right.
You know,
You know what?
they
You're
would have
right.
brought him back.
Valerie Nichushkin is somebody who had an amazing playoff. And I wonder, this is a guy that had 52 points in the regular season last year, which is double his career high almost. I'm wondering if he can build on the success that he saw in the playoffs and become, is this guy a late bloomer? He's 27, but a late bloomer of sorts and a point a game potentially guy? I mean, he's going to get the reps.
Yeah, if they go with Landeskog, McKinnon, Nichushkin as the top line, he's just going to rack up points by default.
Yeah, I was going to say a point a game is pretty aggressive for a guy who'd never really done it, but I mean, damn, he's playing on the top line of the Avalanche. That's pretty good.
And Arturi Lekkonen's another guy that I look at, and again, doesn't get maybe, and he's a 40-point guy in the regular season, and I understand that for Colorado, and obviously he arrived there late, but had a really good playoff for them, was very valuable. Is that another guy that can step up in with Nazem Kadri not there?
Of course he is, and people are focusing on Nazem Kadri not being there, and Georgiev in for Kemper. Lekkonen and Manson were not there all season. For the Avalanche, they were basically deadline acquisitions, so you can make the argument they're better.
Okay,
you can make the argument.
Absolutely, you can.
I mean, Kadri had 100 points, so maybe it's not
So-
that good of an argument, but you could definitely make the argument.
but maybe you take care of those points by committee.
Yeah.
So, with our last 15 seconds, Jesse, where do you have the Avs in the Central Division?
I got them number 1 and easy front runner for the President's Trophy.
I have them number 1 and not picking in the draft until 2025.
I also have them number 1. What a shock.